In honor of the Batman, today we're going to be ranking every Batman movie ever. In order to be qualified for the ranking, it has to either have a theatrical release or Batman as one of or the main character. However, I won't be talking about Mask of the Phantasm since I haven't seen it. Anyway, let's get started. Dead last is Batman and Robin. Everybody knows how terrible this movie is. George Clooney's Batman is possibly the worst. The ice puns are cringe, and this feels more like a twisted version of the 60s series than a sequel to the previous three movies. Barely above it is Batman v Superman. This movie is way too bloated. It had so much potential to be awesome, but it would rather focus on the stories that it wants to tell in the future rather than the story it's telling right now. And Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Ugh. Next is Justice League. Look at Batman, dude. I'm not even going to get into the whole behind-the-scenes stuff or what happened with Ray Fisher, because that's just awful. But just looking at the quality of the movie we got, yeah, it's pretty bad. This definitely could have benefited by giving most of these other heroes their own movies. Batman Forever. It's a pretty jarring tonal shift from Batman Returns to this, and the performances from the villains, oh god. Also, Harvey Dent is white now for some reason. But I do think Kilmer is an underrated Batman, because he does do a pretty good job in this. Did the Snyder Cut. This movie is 4 hours long, and I definitely think it could have been cut down shorter. I do like that we give more backstory behind the character of Cyborg. But I think that this movie is the golden example on how broken DC's cinematic universe is. I mean, half of these characters are brand new, and the endings give us even more new characters that we're likely never going to see again. It's The Dark Knight Rises. This movie is overall a decent finale to the Nolan trilogy. And I do really like Bane. But there are some moments in this movie that are just like, what? Not a bad movie by any means, I just think it could have used a little bit more rewrite. Okay, hear me out. This movie is fun and stupid. This movie glorifies the campy side of Batman because that's the era of comic books that this movie is based on and was released in. It's fun to see all these different villains from the show team up, and the romance between Batman and Catwoman is actually surprisingly pretty good. It ends with a really strong origin story. It shows assets of Batman's origin that we really haven't seen that much. I mean, we all saw his parents die, but we didn't really get to see how Batman got his training, or his tech, or the Batcave. But the villains are kind of crap. There could have been so much more potential with the Scarecrow. But he's barely in the movie, and the fear toxin stuff looks like poop. But overall, a decent movie. Stay tuned next time where I give you my top 5. In honor of the Batman, here are my top 5 Batman movies. For number 5, we got Batman Returns. This movie gets way too much hate. Tim Burton's dark and gothic mood, I feel, worked perfectly for Batman. The performances are pretty great, especially Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and the action's a lot of fun. It's a fun, dark time. Before we got the Lego Batman movie. This movie is so much fun. This movie is hilarious, it's wacky, the animation is spectacular, but it's also a genuinely good movie about the creation of the Bat family. Plus, all of the different references to the entire history of Batman is a fan's delight. Number 3, we got Tim Burton's Batman. This film set the standard for how to make a really good Batman movie. And again, it's all in the performances, it's in the tone, the story, the music, etc. To me, Danny Elfman's Batman theme is the official theme to Batman. At number 2, we got The Dark Knight. The story about the corruption in Gotham is really well done. The action is spectacular. And of course, Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning performance as the Joker steals the whole show. This, along with the double punch of Iron Man released the same year, really did change comic book movies forever. And yeah, my number 1 is The Batman. Everything in this movie, from the story, to the acting, to the action, to the filmmaking, to the visuals, to the music, everything in this movie is just fantastic. I don't think there's a single thing in this film that I would change or alter in any way. Everything about this movie is fantastic. And that is my 2-part ranking of every Batman movie ever, minus Mask of the Phantasm, because I haven't seen it. What's your favorite Batman movie ever? Please let me know in the comments.